So over the past 50 days, I've put in obsessive amount of hours through AI, coding, software development, automation, all that good stuff. I have an obsessive personality, and AI has interested me because my OCD, ADHD, dyslexia has always made learning languages complicated. But with the invention of no-code, low-code platforms, the world's kind of exploded. I'm particularly a coder by nature, so for me, it's Virtual Studio Code. VS Code is my go-to platform, but it's been an interesting journey. So one of the things I wanted to mention to anybody who's watching this channel is one of the things I found that are most important when doing coding is, this is going to look really funny because I'm walking at the gym, but that's fine. One of the things I found is you have to treat AI like a child. That's the most important thing. Treat AI like a child. A child with access to the internet, who's really smart, but he's a child. So you tell it, I want you to build me the best website on earth. The child says, I don't know what that means, but I'll figure something out. So it builds you something. Google's best website finds the first result, which obviously isn't the best website if it's just Googling the best website, and then it builds your website. What I found the most efficient method is to essentially build a bunch of Markdown files that are extensively describing what you consider the best website. So if you want your website to look like Apple, you don't tell the AI, build my website to look like Apple. You tell the AI, build me a Markdown file based off the Apple website that describes the Apple design theory, what that looks like, how the feelings, the colors, the flow, the mobile friendly, all that stuff. You then take that Markdown file and you hand that to the AI and say, build me a website like this. Yeah, it takes a little bit more work in the beginning because you don't know which site you want to necessarily use for your design theory. But optionally, you can go into sites like Gemini that have the canvas and tell it to design me a bunch of design examples and then pick only like the best. But I found if you use Tailwinds and Daisy UI as your component library, most of your stuff you build are actually pretty okay. And then hand it your Markdown file that says, this is what an Apple site looks like. You're going to get a really good website every time. One of the problems with AI is it has, from what I can tell, thinking limits. So it's going to run, let's say, 5 minutes of thinking. But if you tell it, build me a website like Apple, it's going to spend 2 minutes of that going to apple.com, trying to figure out what that design theory is, save it in memory to the best of its knowledge, which it wasn't going to be great, and then attempt to build a website off of that on the next 2 minutes. Where instead, if you just handed it an Apple design theory and said, here's a Markdown file that says how to design like Apple. Here's a Markdown file that says what is good copyright, a copy. Here's a good Markdown file on how to use psychological sales tactics. Here's a Markdown file on mobile friendly. And then you hand it all that. You tell it, build me a website based on all this. It uses 95% of its thinking on the creation instead of trying to determine what you're looking for, especially if you leave things to chance, like build me the best website. Okay, so that's my suggestion, something to look at. It's been unbelievably helpful. Essentially, you could call it duh, but systems and processes work great in a company. Your AI is nothing more than 100 employees sitting in a room waiting for you to tell them what to do. Don't walk into the room and tell them, do a good job. You have to define exactly what a good job looks like. You have to give them every piece of information to do their job well. Again, an analogy we came up with yesterday was bowling. The bowling person is a child. The child is going to do a bad job if you don't stand there and teach them how to bowl. And you can put the bumpers up, but they're still not going to hit a strike every time. So your best case is put bumpers up, teach them how to bowl, hold their hand, give them all the possibilities to do it right the first time, and they'll likely succeed. Good luck. Give it a shot.